Hey, what's up guys? I thought I would actually talk about my collection of knives. I have 8 of them so far, and I like all of them, and I thought I would go over them because I don't know about you guys, I like to collect stuff every once in a while. I have that military collection I made a video about on my other channel a while ago, and I thought I would do just an overview of the different knives I have. So I guess we'll just get started. Now, the first one is the Kershaw Leek. This is a spring-assisted knife, and as you can tell, it's really small. It's pretty much a light use knife, pretty decent for like everyday carry if you don't want to, if you're not doing anything heavy. As you can see, you can either do with the thumb stud and it opens like that, or you can do the flipper on the back, just like that. And it's spring assisted and it's frame lock. If you know what that means, it means the frame actually has a piece that blocks it from closing. That's the type of lock. And overall, it's a really great knife. It's a good light use knife. I think Nut and Fancy called it a gentleman's knife because it's very light use. Good for carrying around if you're just doing light stuff, opening letters, the occasional box, that kind of stuff. So this is a really good knife that I usually just kind of keep on my desk. Next, we'll talk about the Kershaw One Ton. This guy is a fat knife. Let me tell you something. So this is really good, I think, for utility purposes. I guess it's pretty good for EDC, everyday carry. It's got the metal handle, which I like, and it's plastic on this side, but it's metal on this side. I'm really a fan of metal handles. Now, the one thing about this knife, it's made in China. I'm pretty sure this is 8CR 13 MOV steel, so I gotta watch for rusting on here because that type of steel will rust big time, especially with bead blast like this. So that's something to keep in mind, but overall I've used this knife a couple times. It's good for pretty much any like medium to heavy task, I guess. And it's also a frame lock. I haven't really used it for super duper heavy stuff, but it probably should work pretty decently. It's made in China, like I said, so the standards might not be too great, but this is a really inexpensive knife. I wouldn't even say cheap. It's about $20 and it's great value. There's other versions. There's a 3/4 ton and the 1/2 ton, which are a little bit smaller, but this is the 1 ton. So that's that. Next, this is a really cool knife. This is the Cold Steel Ti-Lite, and as you can tell, it looks like a switchblade, and it is not. It's a stiletto style, but it's actually only sharpened on one end, so this side is not sharpened at all, and it's manual open, and it's a liner lock. And the cool thing about this is that there's actually this waved feature you might recognize. If you don't know what that means, basically you can catch this on your pocket as you're taking it out. Let me see if I can demonstrate. I'm not going to use my fingers, I don't want to cut it up, but pretend this is the edge of my pocket and this little metal piece catches like this, and you pull on it and it catches and opens up the knife blade. So as you can see, I'll just do it with my finger. This catches in the pocket and opens like that. So you can pull it out of your pants and pretty much instantly have it open, pretty much faster than the switchblade actually. So even though it's manual, not spring assisted even, it is pretty good for self-defense. Not really for everyday carry just because of the blade shape or anything like that, but it's a really cool knife. This is actually the aluminum handle version. They have a Zytel handle, plastic, but I wanted the aluminum handle just because I said before, I'm a fan of metal handles. I just like the extra weight to them. Some people like the lightweight, and that's totally fine. Next, we have the Kershaw Cryo 2. This is a spring assisted, but I've noticed on this guy, you have to give it a lot of force to open with a thumb stud, and sometimes it doesn't even open all the way. So it might just be that I'm out of practice or I'm not used to opening it. You kind of have to give it you really have to give it a lot of force. I used to be able to do it okay, but I usually just do it with the flipper on the back because it's a lot easier, a lot simpler. You don't really have to give it a lot of force, but like I said, this thumb stud, there we go, it's just like that. So you have to really give it a good amount of force, but other than that, this is a really good, heavy feeling knife. Some people don't like the heavy weight, but like I said, it's got the metal handle. It is also made in China. This is the same type of steel as the 1 ton. I think this is this is definitely 8CR 13 MOV. It says so right so on the blade. So I got to watch this for rusting as well. But overall, this feels really solid. This was maybe $30 and definitely good for the value, or good value for the money rather. And this definitely feels like a good EDC knife. It's also a frame lock. So let's move on to another pretty good EDC. This is the SOG Aegis. This is one of my favorites for light use, basically. This was actually the first knife I ever bought. And the thing I really like about this knife is the blade shape. It just has a really good looking blade, good for pretty much any task. And yeah, it's a really great EDC knife. It's light. The one thing I don't like about it is it's an all plastic handle. There's not really any metal liners in there, but there is a little bit for the lock, obviously. But overall, I don't know. I think I really strongly prefer metal handles just because I think they feel more solid. But this definitely hasn't ever failed on me. It's got a good clip for deep pocket carry, and it comes out fast. So you can see it's really fast, and it's good blade shape for pretty much anything you can throw at it. And I don't know if I would trust this with super duper heavy uses. Some people said the lock failed, but I've never had the lock fail on me. Maybe if you were doing something really crazy with it. But overall, I've been happy with this guy. And next up, we have another really good EDC. This is the Benchmade Griptilian, and it's called the Griptilian, I guess, because it's got grippy notches all over the place. Got jimping, got the metal all up in here. Is it jimping or gimping? I'm not really sure. But overall, I usually find myself reaching for this knife all the time. I don't know why. I think it just feels more solid. Honestly, when I first bought it, the plastic handle kind of threw me off a little bit because it just feels hollow when you tap it. And it felt kind of cheap, but after I've been using it, it is really hard plastic, and it's not like it's cheapo, and there is metal liners inside, so it's not like it's all plastic like the SOG Aegis. And this has the Benchmade Axis lock, which really is not going to fail. This is probably one of the most strong locks in the market. Pretty much all the top knife makers have a similar version of this type of lock. And the thing I like about this is it's not spring assisted, so when you close the lock, when you pull back, you can actually flip it closed just like that. So you can open it and close it one-handed really easily without even having to worry about touching the blade. It's just like that. Obviously, these spring-assisted guys, you can't do that because the spring will just pop it open. Going back to this guy, this is pretty much a two-handed opener. I mean, I don't know if it's just my knife, but trying to open it with one hand, there's a lot of friction. Maybe if I can't even get it. So the thumb stud pretty much is kind of useless for me. So I just usually open this with two hands. But this guy, easily open with one hand. If you flick it out right, it goes really fast. So big fan of this guy. I use it for pretty much everything if I don't have my other guys nearby, and a little bit even more heavy use because this thing can handle it. Next, a little bit different. We have the Bradley Kimura 9 Limited, and the limited means that it is the mirror finish style butterfly knife, and this is I'm a big fan of this guy. Feels such like a sturdy knife, and I like butterfly knives, not even to carry around really, but just because I think they're fun to flip around. You can close them like that. They're really cool to flip around. Honestly, it's more of a recreation thing, although it is such a strong lockup. Butterfly knives, if you get a decent one, you can EDC it because they're really high quality knives. This one was not cheap either because butterfly knives are kind of like a niche thing, so they're going to cost you more. There's no lock, so I would be hard pressed to find a way to break it. Other than that, it's just a really great knife. It's got all metal handles, obviously, and it's not going to rust as easily because of the mirror finish. So I'm a huge fan of this guy. It's a little bit heavier than my other one that I'm about to talk about. So let's keep this here. And this is my Benchmade 51 Morpho. And this guy is also another butterfly knife. It's got that spring latch, which I'm a huge fan of. So you just squeeze the handles together. It pops off the latch. This one doesn't do that. And this one's a lot lighter because it's got the G10 handles. It's got the D2 steel. That's tool steel on there. Also, it's not really mirror finish, but it's like more polished. I honestly do not know what type of steel this is. I've been trying to look it up, and there's not really any clear mention of what type of steel it is, although it is made in the USA, so it's probably not that Chinese kind. And not that the Chinese steel is bad, it's just that it's prone to rusting, but it might be able to hold an edge better. Each steel has a different strengths and weaknesses. So the good thing about this knife I actually like is just it's so light, it's easy to flip around. This guy's a little bit heavier. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but this one's definitely a lot easier to grip onto. The mirror finish on this guy means that it'll slip a little bit easier on your hands while you're flipping it, so that's something to watch out for. But this guy, it's not going to slip. It's G10. It's like a plastic, and it's also got a pocket clip, which this guy does not have. So overall, I'm a big fan of the butterfly knives just because if you want to EDC them, they're really strong lockups. So it's not like anything like this where if you pressed hard enough on here, it would break the lock, because obviously just the nature of this, there's 2 pins, it would have to break the actual metal. It would have to break the whole knife, basically. So that is all of them. I'll put them all out here. Or you can just leave a comment to tell me which one you think is the coolest, or if you guys collect knives, I don't know, which one do you think is the best? Which one would you carry every day? And like I said, I mostly carry this guy around just because I think it's the most well suited for everyday carry. And that's all of them. I hope you liked this video. Be sure to leave a comment, all that stuff. Let me know what you think. I'm not going to bore you with all the subscribing stuff. Just be sure to subscribe, Facebook, all that stuff. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you'd like this kind of video. I want to branch out a little bit more from just technology, maybe a little more stuff like this. So let me know if you want to do any product reviews, that kind of thing. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.